What's going on, Whisper Nation? It is Mock Draft Mania here on Monday, May 3rd. We got a 10-team half-point Superflex mock draft coming up. Let's go.
Right here.
So, Travi, as we said, it's Mock Draft Mania.
Let the mania begin, brother.
Maynia. Man, we are funny.
We like words here. We love the wordplay.
We love it almost as much as we love the floor play and the ceiling play and all the things that we did over the weekend together.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we got no Johnny today, so which means when Johnny's away, the kids will play. Boss is not here. We've got to get it going here, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. We got a full room. We had a full room an hour ago.
We got Drew K. Lou. We got Jay Blizzy, Whisper Nation champ. Mr. Maseeks, Cats Pajamas, Slebo, Fred Beasy, and Jacob Bley, our number one fan in the house, along with you and I.
Yeah, dude, and we've already got some crap talk in here. Obviously, Scott's in, and Scott is death by Rona there. You can see him on the screen. About ready to outdraft everyone once again, calling his shot. Cats Pajamas in here saying, what's up, guys? Welcome in, Whisper Nation. We appreciate you. First mock draft, Austin, since the NFL draft, which, is, of course, was this past weekend. So now, finally, we will overdraft rookies, but know where they're going. Rookie
fever is still alive and well, and the only cure is more mock drafts.
Yeah, it's like a cowbell. So I'm going to get this thing started here. Let me see. All right, we should be good to go. I also need to.
So Whisper Nation, if you're joining us on YouTube and you're not in the sleeper room, but you want to be next time, make sure you follow along on Twitter where Johnny's dropping the live links to join our sleeper room every week before our mock drafts on Monday. But if you're not in it this time, no worries. Go ahead and drop us a comment in YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you are catching this stream right now. And we'll be sure to get to all of the questions and make you a part of the show as well. This is what we love to do. Growing our channel with people who care about fantasy football like yourself. And on that note, if you haven't yet hit the like and subscribe button, please do us a favor. Go ahead, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow, hit the thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Allows us to connect with more fantasy football fans and to have the best mock drafts in town. Speaking of Dalvin Cook, Big Travie.
Yeah, I had to,
I like him even more now.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
At the top of the draft, considering what we saw from the NFL, we haven't had a chance really to talk about the NFL draft implications, but there are quite a few.
Yeah, there's some good stuff going on, and I had to take Cook. I mean, we've been talking more and more about it, and I just keep talking myself into it. I think he has room to grow on the receiving end, and we've seen what he's done as just a pure runner. And I just think with that offense, they're going to need to move the ball with him and Justin Jefferson, and I really like what I'm seeing there. I need to get this screen share going here.
For the live stream. So you're working on that. Yeah. I want to make a comment here on the running back room of the Carolina Panthers. It had been a Christian McCaffrey-led squad for a while, and of course it will still be as one of the most dynamic NFL players alive today. But we have loved saying the name Chuba Hubbard, and has been a popular draft pick, people overreaching for him. Now plays for the Carolina Panthers.
Right. Yeah, some interesting things there. Obviously, we're seeing. I mean, how much could this knock down CMC for you? Is he still a number one overall pick? I think he has to be, right?
He's not for me. No, he's not.
Okay, so it does knock him out.
No, it knocks it out because it bumps up for me other guys. Like for me right now, and this is kind of an emotional take on it, but. Okay.
But that's what we're here for. Like right after the draft, this is what people are dealing with. Let's lean into our emotions, not stuff them deep down.
Take that Irish upbringing and try to think of something that my therapist would encourage more than what my alcoholic grandfather did. But neither here nor there. He had a crappy fantasy football team too, so I don't want to listen to anything that he was about. And my therapist's fantasy football team is banging. So I know who to take advice from on this regard. But for me, if we're looking at what makes a top NFL fantasy running back so special, of course, it's talent. Of course, it is big playability. But opportunity is at the top of the list more times than not. And Christian McCaffrey really didn't have any competition behind him. And I don't think he has competition behind him either. But if you're running a football team, why are you going to go ahead and take a 200-pound running back and give him 25 touches a game if you have an option to have a very, very serviceable other running back play alongside. So with Hubbard, I think you got that now. And I think you would, if I was running the team, I would make sure that Christian McCaffrey wasn't getting more touches than he needed. It's a long season and you got a good squad and you want him to be healthy coming into the playoffs.
And we're really fresh off of seeing what happens when CMC has to be everything for them. He got hurt. Literally, that's what happened. And so when they take a guy like Chuba Hubbard, that's what they're trying to do there is, just spell him a bit. But yeah, like you said, some committee stuff going on. Obviously, Javonte Williams to Denver, which I just thought was not a need for Denver. And they traded up into the second round to take my boy Javonte Williams, who I'm a huge fan of. And so we'll just see how some of these things play out. I think I love Javonte Williams in Dynasty, just as far as opportunity that's going to be around the corner for him, because Melvin Gordon's contract is pretty much done after this year with Denver. So, but redraft, I was excited to see where Javonte went, and it's just like not the most sexy pick right now to be splitting time with Melvin Gordon. But we did talk about this with Ryan Weiss, our friend, when we did the Friday draft stream. Ryan was basically saying that you needed to be able to take it with a grain of salt because Phillip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon were both used in roles. It's just that Phillip Lindsay wasn't the most effective as he had been before. And so you get a fresh legs in there. I think this probably means, no more Royce Freeman shares everywhere, but you're looking at a guy in Javonte Williams that's super talented.
Oh, I'm on the clock here, making my second pick here. I'm going to go ahead and get that double dip going.
Oh, there it is.
Just for funsies on this one.
Superflex, folks. Whisper Nation, help us out with that like and that comment. If you guys are watching on whatever platform, let us know that you're here. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a wave emoji. Let us know what's going on. But let us know what your favorite pick of the draft has been thus far. Obviously, Austin, not to beat a dead horse around here, but, one of our biggest surprises was not even somebody that was drafted. It was Aaron Rodgers coming out and shocking the world. And I spent a good amount of time this morning watching Pro Football Talk break down this relationship. And it just does not sound and look good. It looks very much like Aaron Rodgers, vindictive and grudge holding and manipulative in a lot of ways. And
sure.
That doesn't look fun for me.
And the organization has known about Aaron Rodgers' qualities for a very long time. And right. I would make the case they chose to operate this way. It was almost like a line in the sand kind of move. And we saw what happened. And maybe sometimes if you put an ultimatum down on the table and somebody goes the way you don't expect them to go, it's kind of like, maybe I wish I wouldn't have done that, but you did. And now here we are, and you've got two disgruntled members who I think both have a case. I think the organization and the Packers has a case to say, what the heck, man? Are you serious? And I think Aaron Rodgers has a case to say the exact same thing right back to this organization.
Mike Florio made an interesting point, and I'd love to get your take on this. He said, sometimes you hate that you have a meddling owner that comes in and can do all these things to mess the situation up. But he said this would be a time you'd actually want an owner who can come in and make a unilateral change sweepingly and say, one of the reports is that, Aaron Rodgers actually wants Gutekunst fired, and that would repair the situation, fire the GM.
You want McCarthy fired? He wants the GM fired
now. He wants the GM fired. And so if there was an owner, one single owner, maybe they'd be, capable of doing such a move, not saying it would be the right move, but to do it. And that's just an interesting take that I've seen there.
Yeah, it seems like he goes on these paths, right? And he Aaron Rodgers, I'm not in his life. I can't comment on how well he maintains relationships. But I do know that Aaron Rodgers has a trail of ashes behind him in terms of the relationships he used to have, whether it's with his brother, with his family, whether it's with Mike McCarthy, Brett Favre, which I know got repaired, but it was really, really hazy there. Host of different girlfriends. Now the Packers organization looks like it's another contributor to the pile of ashes, almost that it's there. And so it's one of those things where I'm a Packers fan before I'm a Rodgers fan. Got his autograph right up on here, and I love it and will cherish it forever. But you got to do what you got to do for the organization. And we saw how the Packers handled Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers some 16 years ago. And I was very proud to be a Packer then and a Packer fan. And the bummer is that I don't think Jordan Love is ready for the big show just yet. Not like how excited I was to see Aaron Rodgers full-time behind center. But I love our team, and I think we've got a good shot. What I'm wondering about now, Travi, is we saw Devonte Adams be the first wide receiver taken off the board at the 7th spot by Slebo.
Right.
What happens to Devonte Adams if Jordan Love is the quarterback?
Oh, bro, I don't know.
Right?
I just that we saw this before with Deshaun Kaiser coming in, or some of these guys that have come in, or look at what happened when Peyton Manning left. The Colts were just so bad. I think the Packers are really in deep trouble in a lot of ways. If Aaron Rodgers does not play for them next year, which it's not looking great. And so Adams would probably fall definitely out of the first round for me. And you're talking about behind guys like DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, some of these guys that I at least know the volume is going to be there, and they can, they have their quarterback situation under control here.
Yeah. To me, Devontae Adams becomes such an X factor piece. Devontae Adams is no joke. That man has worked his way into being an elite receiver regardless of the quarterback, but we've only seen him with one quarterback, and we know how much Aaron Rodgers loves throwing the ball in the end zone, across the field, wherever it might be. We have no idea what kind of relationship and productivity level Jordan Love is going to demonstrate.
Absolutely. So right here, Tony, who I believe is Mr. Meeseek, says Kelce on the second, hard eyes emoji. He has built now Alvin Kamara, Travis Kelce, Dak Prescott. Pretty sexy looking trio there to start in this Superflex. I'm liking this run on quarterbacks that started. And look at here. Slebo says he says he's going to bet on Rodgers staying. I mean, technically, as it stands now, Rodgers is under contract. So based on the way he's drafted, Devonte Adams, Aaron Rodgers, and Eckler to sandwich in between. I know you probably don't love this trio here, Austin, just because you're not a huge Eckler guy. And then obviously the turmoil with Adams and Rodgers here.
No, but it's obviously tea leaves ahead of the game, and I think emotions go both ways. Aaron Rodgers has had a lot of emotionally triumphant moments with the Packers, and right now we're in a slouch, but emotions go up and down. That's how emotions roll. And so this could come back around the other way. Let's not forget that he's a part owner in the Milwaukee Bucks, and he probably would have picked a different NBA team if he hadn't been a Packer. He has real roots there. He loves the organization, the fan base, the history, all of those things. Lambeau is unlike any other spot, and he feels like he's been slighted. And I think he's got a case for that. And you can make it right. Yeah, it might be more expensive than you're willing to go if you're the Packers decision maker, but it's okay.
Our guy Jacob Bley here. I'll let you make that pick, Austin. Jacob Bley over here got his two quarterbacks taken care of. Got Stafford a little bit earlier than I think I would probably take him, but it is that super flex. And I understand the allure here. We have not seen a rookie go yet.
And we were talking about this so much. I thought about Najee Harris. I did think about him after we did our live reaction to the round 1 NFL draft. And you and Johnny had that back and forth on Najee Harris on where he's appropriately found. And I'm excited to take him, but it's kind of cool to see him not be reached for. Actually,
just yet. And I think a lot of that will obviously has to do with this Superflex league. So remember, Superflex, we're able to start a second quarterback in your flex. Really, you could start whoever you wanted, but you're going to start a quarterback because that makes the most sense. They can get you the most points. And so we've seen a run on these quarterbacks. And so I'm just going to take a peek at who's left here on the screen. Watson, Burrow, Cousins, Lawrence, Brady, Cam Newton.
This is definitely tier 2, tier 3 stuff.
It's getting thin here.
But you might find an upsider.
Austin, I just wanted to ask you real quick what you thought about going early on QB and Superflex, or maybe waiting and doing the stack. So I know it's not a long wait, but Jacob Bley here at the end went Ezekiel Elliott, Joe Mixon, got his running backs, then went back-to-back QBs. Whereas you said, I want to build a little bit more depth, but I'm going to take the best in the game. I'm taking Mahomes early, and then I'll fill out a little bit. How are you feeling about the first 4 picks for you?
I love my first 4 picks on this one. I think Josh Jacobs and Antonio Gibson could both be top 10 running backs, and to get them after getting the number 1 quarterback and his best weapon there in Tyreek Hill. I know Travis Kelce is there, but Tyreek Hill is a little bit different. And this thing is coming very nicely together. But to your question there about drafting quarterbacks early or not, I think this really comes into your preparation. And what you don't want to do is say, I can get a quarterback late and commit to that strategy before you see who's actually being selected. Because if your league takes a real early on run with quarterbacks and you were sitting back being like, oh, I'm going to enjoy some upside plays. Like maybe I'm going to take me a Jalen Hurts. Maybe I'm going to get me a Trevor Lawrence. Maybe you're going to go ahead and pull in some of these guys that you think are going under the radar, but you still see upside potential in them. Because what can happen is the rest of your league can see it the same way, and they might go ahead and reach on those guys a little bit early. And then you're looking at guys like Derek Carr and, Daniel Jones being your guys. And if you fall into that camp, like, yeah, they could get it done and they could have a weird week with 4 touchdowns and 300 yards, but you don't want to rely on that. You want to have those odd upside guys available to you. So it goes back to my point of preparation. You need to highlight the tiers. You need to place in your own judgment who are the guys that you're excited by, who have built-in risk to where they're at, and keep a close eye on that, especially in a Superflex where the quarterback is so important. You can wait on quarterback, but it's got to be relative. You can't say, I'm going to not take a quarterback until round 10 unless you're comfortable getting guys like Derek Carr and Jared Goff being your bread and butter.
Yeah, love what you said there. And Whisper Nation, if you don't take anything else from us here, it's be like water. It's be adaptable, be able to flow with your draft. And that's exactly what Austin's talking about there. Yeah, you could tie yourself to a strategy, and you should. You should have multiple strategies that you like, but they should be in your back pocket and interchangeable. You should be able to come out with a new one. If the draft zigs and you want to zag, that's sometimes the actual way you need to go with it. So I love that advice there.
And why I took Patrick Mahomes, Big Travie, was because all of those tier one plus, and then tier 1 running backs were gone for me.
Right
now, Ezekiel Elliott's kind of on the fringe there for me. He's close. Aaron Jones is a little bit on the fringe there for me, but not as my number 1. Because I look at myself then as just being a shadow of another team. Like if I'm taking my 2 running backs, I'm taking my lead dog to be Joe Mixon. Like that's not as good as Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey. It's not even close.
Right.
So I can't set myself up immediately a step back from the rest of my league. So I got to feel like
you have to make up ground the rest of the draft, and then you're making picks. That's when you're getting those reaches and those panic picks.
Exactly. It's my favorite Dwight D. Eisenhower quote: "Plans are worthless, but planning is everything." You got to put in the work. We run a podcast, Travie. We are in the weeds with this information. I had a draft a couple of years ago where I was like, I know all this stuff forwards and backwards. Like I don't need to come in with my written out tiers. I've already done so much of this. And I just missed guys. And how the tiers interlocked, and I lowered my ceiling because of it. So you got to put in the plans, but then planning is everything. Plans are worthless, because you never know what's actually going to happen, and you have to adapt, as you said, Travis, be like water.
Love it. I love it. And we love that Whisper Nation's in here. 10 people, 11 people now viewing it with us across the platforms. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, if you're sitting there in your mom's basement, wherever you're at, we want you to give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and tell us how you're doing today on this beautiful Monday. Mock Draft Mania has begun. We are in the month of May, and we are gearing up. Things are in the works. I'll just let you know, Whisper Nation. Things are in the works for the Mock Draft Marathon, which will be happening in July this year. We are reaching out to our people in the stratosphere, and we will be going live for 24 straight hours in July, mock drafting with you, Whisper Nation. We're excited. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not already to us on all platforms, and hit those notifications so you know when we go live. We're just really excited that you're all in here. Please let us know in the comments, what was your favorite draft pick of this 2021 NFL draft? Austin, you know what else is? It's May. You know what else? Not just the draft that happened a couple of days ago, but in May 12th, the NFL schedule comes out, which is a big one. Then we're going to know who's playing who. Maybe, we can beat back this virus and actually get some people in the stands.
I love it.
Go to some games. I'm excited for that, man. And I'm excited that Whisper Nation's in here with us. We're rocking and rolling through 5 rounds now. Oh, right on. This is awesome. I'm going to lock it up. Says, I'm at work in the office watching on Twitter, and I'm angry that I'm not mock drafting next.
We are
I'm
too,
sorry
man.
You're angry. hopefully we can appease that by you can mock with us next week. Make sure you're looking out for that Twitter or that tweet where we get that link out for you, because that is what we do here. But only 10 slots. This one went quick. We appreciate you all that came in here and that are mocking in here. No auto drafting. We love to see that. Death by Rona in here. Jay Blizzy, a couple people from our listener league. Obviously, Jacob Bley, #1 fan. Austin over here in the 6th round, making that selection now.
There's some juice here, man.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, I want to talk about James Robinson and Travis Etienne. I'm not going to double this one up. You know my style. You know I love to grab these. Where it's at right now, and yes, full disclosure, I am a James Robinson roster in our dynasty league. But I gotta say, man, I'm not worried about Travis Etienne right now. I'm not worried at all, actually.
DJ Moore here. And so basically what Carolina did, Austin, is they picked up that 5th-year option for Darnold. They got out of the quarterback game, and they said, we're going to roll with Big Arm Darnold, and we like what we see. Mm-hmm. We like our shot at getting a franchise quarterback after a franchise gave up on him. I'm excited for Sam Darnold. I love comeback stories. I think we do as humans, especially as sports fans. And this is one I'm going to get excited about, I believe.
I am too. I can't wait to see what Carolina does. They got a pretty good squad. I love the wide receiver core in DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, reuniting Anderson and Sam Darnold. Christian McCaffrey, obviously, the man needs no introduction at this point. And that defense is kind of coming around as well. I am excited to see what they're about. And I just love the talent, at least on those positions. Fun team to play with on Madden, I'd say. We're there for sure.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what Carolina can do. I like when we get youth in the coaching staff. I like when we get out-of-the-box thinkers in coaching staffs and kind of break the trend of the good old boys club that the NFL can be sometimes. Yeah. And Carolina is currently doing that with the way they're constructing their roster, with both of their head coach and their offensive coordinator coming from storied college franchises in Baylor and in LSU, and just the way that they've built this thing out. And they're trusting in a guy that, a lot of the league and a lot of pundits have given up on. I see Twitter just roast Sam Darnold, and I just don't think it's fair yet. I just don't think the story's written.
It's not a fair evaluation in the same way Ryan Tannehill's evaluation under Adam Gase was not fair during Miami. Oh, speaking of
Tannehill, gets drafted right before where I was going to take him. Jay Blizzy, this is what happens, man.
This is what happens. And as we say always, prepare for the snipe, expect to get sniped, and have a plan in place. I like to count out when I'm a handful of picks before, and if there's a guy, especially if there's a guy I really want to draft, and there's 5 picks before my turn, I'm going to count 4 other guys that I would be comfortable getting, just in case. What order would I do it in? So that if I do get sniped, I'm not wrecked, and I don't have that 90 seconds or whatever's on the clock turn into 3 seconds, because that's what it can kind of feel like if you get sniped and you start panicking and where'd all the time go? And it went into your wallowing. So don't let that happen.
Be better.
Yeah, Travis, I've been keeping this one in, and I wanted to talk about James Robinson, and I want to get your take in here if I'm off base with this, or if this is kind of actually what we might where we should consider going forward. We know what the slander on James Robinson name has been. He is a product of opportunity. He's somebody who wouldn't have had such great production last year if they had other running backs. They didn't want to win. He's an undrafted guy. This isn't Urban's pick. It's not his guy. All this different stuff, right?
Right.
And they go off and take Travis Etienne there at the back of the 1st round, 2nd running back off the board, 1 pick after Najee Harris.
And then Urban comes out and says, we're not only just going to take him, we're going to say that it's Carlos Hyde, James Robinson, and Etienne that we want to be. He said so, it was a random quote. He's like, we want to be 8th in the league. We want to be top 8. And we got to do that by using all 3 of these guys. It's like, first of all, why did you say top 8? Like, it was a random number, but okay.
Is there 8 teams now in the playoffs?
No, it's a 7 team. It's the you get the 6 and then the 1 play-in, right? The 1 wild card play-in. Okay. But I don't know. Yeah. Either way, that was an odd one. Maybe it's analytics, but yeah, there's a lot of things working there, right, Austin? So how are you feeling now the dust is settling a bit. You drafted him here. You have him in Dynasty. Where are you at with it?
I think this is great for the Jaguars. I think they're going to get a lot of first downs. I think they're going to score a lot of points, and I think they're going to keep defenses on their heels. And I look at Travis Etienne, and this is I don't want to relegate somebody to a certain position, but it's a very explosive running back who we thought might be best suited for, kind of a scat back type of role. And Urban Meyer is kind of suggesting that third down is where he initially has him envisioned. So if I'm looking at these three running backs, and the fact that he's starting it off saying basically everybody's got a shot means merit is going to come into play. And I believe in James Robinson's talent. I think this dude is a legitimate running back. I think he's got an edge to him. I think he showed it to us last year. I think he's got a ton of tread on his tires, and I think he wants to make a point. And I think even if you come in and count it against him, some guys need the benefit of the doubt to get the role. Todd Gurley last year, for instance, I think would be a fine example. Like, if the coaches blinded everybody, would Todd Gurley have really been getting the work that he did? And in this case, I think James Robinson, though, would blind him, take the name off the back of his jersey and put a visor on his front. It's just a body running. I think you'd look at him and be like, I want that guy running. And he's going to beat out Carlos Hyde. I can promise you that. So Carlos Hyde becomes then just a spell. And then the question is, how do you want to pair these two backs with him and ETN, James Robinson? And I think you see ETN and him kind of split it up. But it'll probably make the most sense to have James Robinson taking the early down work and a lot of the goal line touches. And it's a better offense. It's going to collect first down. That's good for everyone.
Yeah, just under 50 catches last year. You worry a little bit about where his receiving work will
that'll
go.
drop. That'll drop.
But to your point here, 7 touchdowns on the ground, only 3 through the air. So I really think he's still within the realm of 7 to 10 touchdowns as a running back, and well within, I don't think he's got that top 10 upside like he had last year. He was RB7. I don't think that's within his wheelhouse if ETN's healthy all year, but I do believe he can be a solid RB2.
Yeah, and that's what I think he is.
I think that's where he belongs. You draft him there, and you're going to be okay with it because he's going to be the grinder for this team. So as long as he's healthy, he's going to be the guy chunking up yards and falling into the end zone here and there. And like you said, Trevor Lawrence, some of the work they've done within the receiving core, they've still got some weapons there. Laviska Shenault in his second year. The chain should be moving more. They should be moving a whole lot more, which means there's room to grow in the pure yardage standpoint and in the touchdown standpoint for James Robinson, even if his receiving floor does come down. So especially in standard, really loving James Robinson still, but just, we got to see that ADP adjust. And I think it did even in this draft. You look at him going in the 5th. And I think that's the fair take there. And look at what you did here. You said, I'm going to get Jacobs and Gibson. Robinson doesn't have to be my guy. And then also you got ETN. So now you've done what you like to do, which is lock up a backfield, especially a backfield that's ambiguous like that. And now you're feeling good about your flex.
Yeah, and I don't think I spent too much. Like, it's, an 8th round pick for ETN. If I didn't have Robinson, I wouldn't have done it because I just don't know. But now I know I've got the running back unless Carlos Hyde went vegan and started drinking some of Chris Paul's secret juice and all this weird stuff. It's not going to happen. We know what what Carlos Hyde's about, and I'm not concerned on that same level. But pairing these guys up in this fashion, I'm a big fan of it. It just hedges my bets, and I'm locked up at running back no matter what.
So funny, man. Urban Meyer definitely is being what we kind of thought he might be, which is this.
Yes, we thought he was.
Yeah, he's like this college guy bringing in people we saw before the draft. Tim Tebow getting worked out as a tight end for Urban Meyer. He did. Some stuff that's going on there. There's some that
did Tebow
stuff.
Show up?
Yeah, he went to the workout. I haven't seen that he got signed at all yet, but that's what they're talking about. They're like, oh, he's a tight end. He came for a workout, and it's so funny. They tried to get him to switch forever, but Urban Meyer comes to the league. Urban's like, hey, why don't you try out for tight end here? And he does it, and then obviously getting reunited with Carlos Hyde, who he coached, reuniting all over the place for Urban Meyer. So that's some fun stuff. When you have the keys to the car, you can do some things that you want to do.
I think that's way to him too. It's a fun squad right now with Trevor Lawrence, the TN. It's a young team, and I think a lot of that energy will be at least appreciated. I don't know if it's going to be productive. I don't want to say the Jags are good because they could totally flop. Rookie quarterback, new head coach. lot of expectations. We'll see. We'll see about those ones. I'm certainly excited about him. And I know that we are all very excited about the early rounds and mock drafts in general. And it's freaking awesome. And Travis, one of the best things.
Sniped again. Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Andrews and Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, Andrews for sure. Yeah.
One of the things we love the most is when you're actually drafting and you pick up a guy and the whole room goes,
yeah,
I wanted that guy. And usually it's the guy with the most upside. It's kind of like a sneakier guy who's got this big upside that people think is going under the radar, and then you swoop him up and everybody's cards are on the table now. So I wanted to know as we go through, we're here in the 9th round, we're making it through, and I wanted to get your take on who you saw in the previous 9 rounds. I want to go round by round with this one, and just who has the most upside and maybe then the highest floor that you see from each of the rounds going here. So like for the first, we'll skip the first round because that's we talked a lot about that one already, but jumping here into the second round, if I'm looking at upside and we're both drafting here and then floor play with it. I mean, Tyreek Hill can be, he's been the number 1 wide receiver by a mile in multiple years. So I got him there. And then for the highest floor, I'm looking at
Michael Thomas seems like a really nice high floor guy here in that round.
Is a quarterback concern you at all?
I don't think so, because what we saw with Taysom Hill was at the very least, he got Thomas involved. It was about 10 targets a game with Taysom Hill. So we know that he's going to be that possession guy and catch a ton of balls. Will he hit break the record with any of these guys, Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill? Probably not. But we know that Jameis Winston will sling it, and we know Taysom Hill will at least like Michael Thomas. So I think we're kind of safe there, and I think we're getting him at such a value. We had to take this guy in the first round last year, and now we're getting him at the end of the second in a lot of drafts. I love it.
I like Kelsey too as a high floor, just because we know what that locked-in relationship is there. Going on here to the third round. Well, for the upside on it and kind of like sneaky upside, you and I talked about this earlier about AJ Brown.
Yeah.
I think AJ Brown's got top 3 wide receiver over him. You had some great stats on what he's able to do per reception, and there's so many vacated targets with Jonnu Smith and Corey Davis begone.
40% of Tennessee's targets have been vacated out of that offense. So if you get them a modest 20% of that, half of that 40%, basically, that would put them at top 10, top 5 in the league in targets. And we want that because this is a guy who's done it without a bunch of targets and just really been a beast. And you take away Corey Davis, you take away Jonnu Smith, you take away Adam Humphries. And now you're talking about a situation where it's Tannehill and his boy A.J. Brown, and they get to go play out in the schoolyard together. Yep. And I love it, man.
Making the selection.
The Titans didn't do anything in the draft for wide receiver, which you love. I mean, dynasty owners, I know Johnny, he's got him in our dynasty league. I know he's just ecstatic about what the Titans did, or should I say didn't do in the draft.
Yeah.
And so you love to see that situation there. I think for me, in that same round, you could make a case for upside as well in Stephon Diggs. I think we've just seen it already. So I think this is a guy that could easily be, you wouldn't be that shocked if he's number 1 overall.
Oh no, my squad's glitching. I'm clicking Marquis Brown, and I'm just watching the hoop.
Sleeper with their dang update. Probably pushed too much stuff in here.
Damn it.
Well, that's no good.
No, I clicked him too, and it wasn't.
I know because you.
Oh no, I'm
auto.
No,
oh man,
God damn it!
It's getting bad.
So deflating on this. I don't care if it's a mock draft and it means nothing. This is like one of the best squads I feel like I put together. I love this team. And James Conner and Kenyon Drake are not my favorite picks.
No, I love how they're connected though too.
Barf. Oh my God. Gross. So
all right. Well, shake it off here, brother. We've got round 4. What do you look when you look at round 4? What are you thinking? Highest upside, highest.
Did you flip him for
What's
me?
That?
Or did it just do it?
No. Oh, maybe it did. It adjusted. It did. That's wild. I didn't do that.
Weird.
Well,
And then I put in the auto pick for me.
Sleeper must be watching here. They're watching our mock draft.
Sleeper never sleeping.
Yeah, dude. They're in there like Edward Snowden, man. They know what's up, dude.
All of a sudden, they're going to change their name from Sleeper to Awake.
Yeah.
Like, what? And their logo's now an eye.
Oh, that's funny. That's good stuff. Oh, well, here's Kenyon Drake at the top of my board now because he got erased from your lineup. So at least you wanted Marquis Brown there. Talk a little bit about Marquis Brown because obviously we saw the Baltimore take Rashad Bateman.
Yeah.
And I believe that's who they took. I need to make sure. I'm losing these. Yeah, that's right. Rashad Bateman.
Number 27 pick. So that's a pretty early on.
What we talked about during the draft there, Austin, was how this could open things up for Marquis Brown and Mark Andrews, actually.
We just don't know yet about Lamar Jackson and what he's really capable of in terms of throwing the ball exclusively. We all know what he can do to win games, to run the football, all these other things. But from an exclusive throw the ball, catch the ball, traditional quarterbacking position, there's still some question marks out there. And we heard Des Bryant talk about the problems he saw firsthand in that wide receiver room and how Lamar could really use some extra help. And Marquis Brown, I think, has a couple of things going for him that could boost his production this year. First off, I'm not taking him early, though. I'm not, full disclosure, I don't think Marquis Brown is going to pop, but the possibility is undeniable. He is a very athletic roof raiser who has a relationship with Lamar Jackson, who hasn't gotten it going in his first 2 seasons. Third-year wide receivers are typically when we see some breakout happen. He's also got years of rapport with Lamar Jackson, and it's been disappointing thus far, but it hasn't been like an Andy Isabella type situation where you're just like, what? Is this guy still on the team? Right. No, he's on the team. He's still that number 1 guy, but he might lose that soon. Rashad Bateman, though, coming over is another very talented wide receiver who has a different type of build and a different type of play style, which I think is just going to keep defenses honest. When you can get more weapons for Lamar out there, if nothing else, even if you can't make the completions happen, it's going to make the defense consider more things and keep them honest to a degree, which benefits everybody. And if Marquis Brown has a couple of things click this year, maybe he gets a leg up on development. Him and Lamar Jackson work out this summer and they get a couple of more things going. Rashad Bateman helps keep the defense on their heels, stretch them out. You could see Marquis Brown then be what we've hoped he would be these last couple of years. And that's a guy who can win you some football games on your. I
just love the fact that even if he doesn't, like, where you got him is obviously great. Let's push him out even to the 10th, maybe, with this news. Like what's going to happen with his ADP. Hopefully, he becomes even more of a value. But this is a guy that can straight up win you weeks, just with his upside. And now Baltimore, if they get things clicking, and they're an offense that just continues to get opportunities over and over again, that is going to be some exciting stuff. So I'm just glad Johnny's not on here right now to be besmirching the Baltimore Ravens offense, but his ears are burning right now. He's probably trying to figure out a way to get on here and talk about how bad they're going to be. No, he understands the fantasy implications of this offense. He's not sold on Lamar Jackson as a QB. And I get that, but I think this is a guy that's improved every year, and you give him more weapons and you fortify that offense, you fortify that team around him. I think big things could be in there. Austin here trying to make sure he does not suffer from the glitch again this time.
I don't want it this time.
Yeah, making his picks here, but we are closing in here, Austin. This one moved quick. Obviously, that 10-team Superflex. We've got some interesting squads here. We do our grades a little differently now. So we'll be jumping through. Austin and I will do our best to kind of get through these teams and figure out if we've got a top team of between the two of us here. Yeah. Another guy that may have upside, maybe not as much as Jalen or as Marquis Brown, but very similar to Marquis Brown. 2nd-year wide receiver, Jalen Reagor, for a team that drafted another wide receiver. Devonta Smith was drafted by the Eagles to probably be that one role, but now Reagor gets some of this stuff off of his back, some of this pressure, and can maybe be that deep threat that we want him to be. And similar to Marquis Brown, the ability to win you a week should things align right.
Yeah, and there's just no way to accurately judge Jalen Reagor from his rookie season last year. Highly, highly touted prospect, early selection for the Eagles for all of the reasons that Jalen Reagor brings to the table. Just a phenomenal athlete, great wide receiver. But Carson Wentz was so weird last year. The whole Eagles were so weird last year. He was hurt also. And if he has a good season, if he connects with Hurts, there's a real world then where Reagor is a legitimate playmaker for you and your squad, as well as the Eagles. And not a lot of things have to happen. There's like a ton of muck, but I think we can kind of say like, well, a lot of these things we really don't need to consider anymore. Like when we were evaluating it last year, we had Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson on the table. We had Carson Wentz. We still had J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who was over there. And we don't have that situation anymore. And we had a new wide receiver that came on board, and we've got a new quarterback. Might be a competition. We got a coach now who's throwing rock, paper, scissors games out there. But there is a pathway for Reagor to be a significant playmaker for both the Eagles and your fantasy team. And I'll take that in the 11th round.
Heck yeah, you will. We have 12 still watching with us. Thank you guys for being in here, helping us out here. We love you guys. Mock Draft Mania has started. It is the month of May. We will be mock drafting every Monday. You can catch us at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. And we are rocking and rolling. Just no Johnny today. He's on his way back home. He was out for the draft weekend this weekend. It was good to be with him. He will be back this Wednesday. Remember, we go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday here on the Fantasy Whispers. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. Follow us on whatever platform you're watching from right now. We are rocking and rolling through this offseason, and we can't wait. Now the excitement is building even more. I mean, we've been mocking since February, Austin, but now with the draft, with the draft happening, the schedule is going to be released, excitement's happening. We're going to actually have training camp this year in a lot more ways that we didn't have it last year because of COVID. So you're going to see some exciting stuff here. And, of course, Chelsea chiming in here. Philly Chelsea says, happy Monday. Miss you game time. That we do. And it is a happy Monday indeed. I got to make my pick here. I don't want to pull.
You make your selection here, Big Trevi. And I want to I'm going to go through the restaurants. We're going to go a little bit quicker as we're coming to the end of the draft here. And maybe instead of upside and high floor, going to what the root of the question was. And that's what player in this round, if you were actually drafting and you saw one of your league mates take this guy, would make you go, nice pick. We're like, oh, that's the guy I wanted, excluding our guys. Because obviously you and my draft, we drafted all of those dudes, obviously. Other guys that are available, guys that were selected. We'll start off with the third round. And who would make you say, oh, man, I had wanted him. I know you're making your selection here, so I'll go ahead and offer mine. So we said A.J. Brown there in the third. I agree with that. Not counting in our own picks there in the fourth. I mean, it's new, fresh appeal, but Najee Harris for me goes, it's just a fun one, especially in the fourth. Lead back for Pittsburgh. I'm still concerned because it's a rookie and everything else there, but honest to goodness, that would make me go, okay. All right.
I'm going to take my pick here. All right. So, sorry, I just had to get that pick in, but I'm with you there. So, third round, you want to say who? Like
we said A.J. Brown in the third.
Yeah.
Fourth round, I just said Najee Harris. And all these guys are good, but it's kind of like where they were selected, where they're at.
Yeah.
What would create the most sense of envy and maybe appreciation.
The fourth round, I like the Harris take. I also like the Cam Akers pick. I think Cam Akers is he plays for a team and a coach that we've seen hit the pinnacle at RB twice in a row. And that's Todd Gurley, who went back-to-back in 17 and 18. And so if that system can produce that, and we like Cam Akers as a prospect, I like Cam Akers'
I think Cam Akers beats out Najee Harris at the end of the fantasy season.
I would think so too. And we've talked about this. We talked about it a little bit at the draft. We talked with Mac from the Snap Football podcast when he did the draft with us on Friday, and he was saying the same thing. I'm taking all those second-year guys ahead of Najee Harris right now. And I think, I just think that's a great take here. Travis Garden coming in here. I'd grown if Allen Robinson went off the board. Justin Fields seems promising. So we're thinking Justin Fields here is going to just really elevate Allen Robinson, maybe get that ceiling we haven't seen. We've seen the floor. We've seen Allen Robinson just produce straight up. But Allen Robinson with Justin Fields, that's that mystery box, Austin.
It's mystery box. I just don't think you see Allen Robinson perform any better with Fields than he did last year with Trubisky and with Foles. I think Fields could be great, but I just don't see that happening
like
that
this
year.
year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a good one.
I just want to say for the 5th round, we're not going to be able to get through all of these because we got to jump into the draft grades. But for me, the 5th round, the guy who I literally went, oh, was Justin Jefferson.
I love it.
That he's available that late right there is just like, damn.
Yeah, the super flex and the run on QBs and tight ends definitely helped Jefferson get pushed down a little bit. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. All right, well, we did it, Austin. We rounded it out. Darrell Henderson is our last pick in the 13th by Jacob Bley, which means we're rocking and rolling here and ready to do the draft grades. Doing it a little bit differently. First of all, we want to thank everybody that joined us here. We appreciate you. Hang on for these draft grades. We're going to be doing it up, but if you can hit us with a like, subscribe, and share of this video, we'd appreciate that. Scott coming in here, Death by Rona. I killed it. We knew you weren't going to lack confidence. Death by Rona. We knew that wasn't going to happen. Double stack here. Tony says Dak, Lamb, Fields, A-Rob. Love doing that in Superflex leagues. That is something we haven't talked about, but I just want to hit quickly. Stacking is fun as it is, especially in redraft regular leagues, but in Superflex, you get this secondary kind of advantage if you can get quarterbacks with a stack as well. And I was able to do one stack, but if you could do a double stack, it's a great one right there.
It's always fun. I still want to see someone do a breakdown if that actually gives you any type of advantage whatsoever, or if it's just more for fun. Because it's like the highs, you ride the lows, right? With that. So I wonder what it actually breaks out. I haven't seen that number. But Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, it's my favorite stack in the game.
Yep. You got me my wheels turning. I think I want to start breaking that down. Challenge accepted. I'd like to dig into some of those numbers.
Yeah, I don't think it does anything. I think it's all just mental candy.
Well, that's what this game is, man. Mental candy. We're going to give Whisper Nation some mental candy right now. We're going to do these draft grades. So I'm going to split it up here. I'll take Drew, Jay Blizzy, Death by Rona, and Mr. Meeseeks, and I'll break these teams down real quickly and then see who I like the most. So Drew K. Lou takes Christian McCaffrey, Michael Thomas. Then he comes back with J.K. Dobbins, Amari Cooper, and Calvin Ridley. Loving that wide receiving core to start. I'm not sold on J.K. Dobbins being your RB2. I just think that team is so weird with what they do with the run game right now. When your quarterback gets 24% of the rushing market share, it's a little bit scary. So then Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield. This is what happens when you wait sometimes on quarterback. You end up with Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield. Now, I love Kirk Cousins as a solid floor in QB2 leagues or 2 QB leagues. Same with Mayfield, but I just don't know if these guys have the ceiling in their offenses. They're very run-heavy offenses, so we'll have to see there. Melvin Gordon, then Mark Andrews. Love the Mark Andrews pick in the 9th. I just love that people are sleeping on Mark Andrews. I think he's the one guy going around this range that really has top 1 upside, and so you like that. Jerry Jeudy, Jameis Winston. Winston's got some high upside as a late QB. Kenyon Drake, who Austin took, and then with the glitch, and then he got put back on the board. And then Rashad Bateman from Baltimore there. Really rough to see a rookie wide receiver then go into a rookie wide receiver with Lamar Jackson, as we know, not the most profitable. So we'll see there. I like this team. I don't love it just yet, so we'll see what the extra ones here. Jay Blizzy drafted Derrick Henry at the 1-3, then took Josh Allen, followed by A.J. Brown, who we love, Darren Waller, Justin Jefferson. I mean, this top 5 picks, and even Tannehill, who is a sleepy stud here.
Derrick Henry's my new number 1. He's my 1-1.
I like that. I don't mind that at all.
After Tennessee. The draft, he's the 1-1. Darrynton Evans, they drafted last year. That's the backup. He's no Derrick Henry. Please give Derrick Henry the ball. Vrabel says, okay. We've seen him all working out this year.
I just love this team, this squad he's put together. And then we come back down here. T. Higgins, who is probably going to get pushed down in ADP because of drafting a Jamar Chase, but I think Higgins' value stays about the same, even with Chase in the lineup. We saw A.J. Green leave. That's 100 targets that, basically Jamar Chase could soak up, and still T. Higgins can do his thing. Ronald Jones, then Deebo Samuel, Deshaun Watson. I think that's for, shits and gigs, so to speak. And then Trey Sermon. This is actually an interesting one. Trey Sermon was one of my favorite prospects. He runs upright. We knew he could need some work, but he's going now to a scheme in San Francisco that if you become the guy, that's automatic RB2 status with RB1 upside. So I like Sermon as a dart throw late here. All right, Death by Rona. Yeah. Definitely scary, especially in Dynasty. You want to be taking a peek at that. See if you can't get some recoup.
Easy
some of that
come,
value.
Easy go, though, and nobody busted their ass to land Raheem Mostert.
Right. Death by Rona here. Obviously, no shortage of confidence. We appreciate Death by Rona and the engagement and being in here. Appreciate you. Saquon Barkley, then DeAndre Hopkins, followed by Russell Wilson and George Kittle. So once again, the top 4 here are really, really meaty, really nice. Then goes with Miles Sanders, who had Kenneth Gainwell drafted behind him here. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. Kenny Golladay, then Tom Brady, followed by Cooper Kupp and Juju Smith-Schuster. Some wide receivers that are kind of falling down in the ranks because of their situations, but these were guys we used to take in the first and second and third rounds. So really, I like the value that he gets out of Kupp and Juju Smith-Schuster, especially in half-point PPR. Todd Gurley, then Will Fuller here, chilling the 11th round. Le'Veon Bell, and Damian Harris. Love the Damian Harris in the 13th. We've been talking about him quite a bit as just a nice dart throw. Solid team here. I think he's competing with Jay Blizzy. I'll have to look back at these when I go to give the final grade here. Mr. Meeseeks is my final breakdown here. He's drafted Alvin Kamara, Travis Kelce, and then Dak Prescott and Allen Robinson with his first 4 picks. Got a nice floor RB2 with Chris Carson in the 5th. Then some upside with CeeDee Lamb, who he's stacking with Prescott, as he told us he was going to do. Justin Fields, who he's hyped on, he told us he's going to stack with Allen Robinson. I do think that Fields sees the field this year, most likely, but there are some things in his throwing mechanics that could need work, and it is the Bears. So it could be a situation where you're not happy with this. It's an exciting pick. It's aggressive for them. If I could say I was happy for the Bears, I would, but I can't because I'm a Packers fan. But I think it's an interesting pick. And in 2 quarterback leagues, I don't mind it. You stacked it with Derek Carr to kind of save you with the floor of Derek Carr, so I don't mind it at all. Then Chase Edmonds here. We're going to make that play that Chase Edmonds can be the guy. Let's hope so for your sake with James Conner getting drafted in there or picked up there. Then Chase Claypool. Javonte Williams was my favorite running back prospect, drafted by Denver. I don't love it for redraft this year, but I think for Dynasty, he's got some things working for him there. Laviska Shenault, my favorite wide receiver prospect of last year, in an exciting situation now with a quarterback, the best prospect we've seen in a while coming up here. And so that's exciting stuff for Shenault. And then Michael Pittman, kind of a dart throw here at the end. So if I'm looking at these teams, Austin,
yep,
I really do love Mr. Meeseek's team, but it doesn't give above the nod here. So I got to go with our Whisper Nation listeners here, Jay Blizzy and Death by Rona. Yeah. And I have to just figure out which one I like here. And I think I'm going to go with, I like Death by Rona. Oh man, this hurts me. Jay Blizzy, I like your team, man, but I just think there's some pop with Death by Rona here. Actually, I'm switching. I'm going back. I'm sorry. I'm going A.J. Brown and Justin Jefferson. I like that wide receiving core better. I'm going to give it to Jay Blizzy. I think he gets it there. No slight on you, Death by Rona. You're right behind him, and I think that is an A team there.
Nice. I like it, man. And especially if Deshaun Watson, if you get that bump up there, if he ends up playing and he's doing what he is capable of doing on the football field, you certainly are excited about that production coming your way. All right, so I'm going to take my squads up, and I'll start here with on the Cast Pajamas, where at pick number 6, he takes Jonathan Taylor, 2nd round Kyler Murray, CEH and Cam Akers. Ooh, this is a nice start. Trevor Lawrence, reach, but get your guy. Adam Thielen, Brandon Ayuk. This is his first 2 wide receivers. Nice. Tua as his 3rd quarterback, Raheem Mostert there in the 9th round. We've been seeing him go up in the 5th. I know this is a 10-teamer, but even still. Brandon Cooks, Jarvis Landry, Irv Smith is his tight end, and the new A. Rodgers in Green Bay, Amari Rodgers, rookie wide receiver there. So, man, there's some things I love on this team. There are some things that I think could go a little bit better. I wouldn't be taking Trevor Lawrence in redraft before even Ryan Tannehill, Burrow. If you're excited about it, that's great. But first overall quarterbacks bust. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to bust. There's guys who are very, very, very good in the NFL who have more experience than Trevor Lawrence right now. And so I'm not a big fan of taking a guy like a Trevor Lawrence this early, especially when his play style is more, he's not an RG3. If you will. It's not someone who's coming with something so much extra. But Goodness gracious, Travi. Look at these running backs here. Jonathan Taylor, CEH, Cam Akers, nasty as heck. And then Kyler Murray, who could be the number 1 overall quarterback this year. You love that. Ayuk and Thielen, both be top 10 wide receivers. And it's got a ton of upside on this one. I think he hurts his floor play a little bit with picking up people like Trevor Lawrence when you could have grabbed. He still could have grabbed. I mean, there's a lot of guys actually that were coming. You could Julio Jones, Keenan Allen, Joe Burrow even. Anyways, but the pop on this team is fantastic. Kyler, the first 4 picks, like my goodness, and then 6 and 7 for me make this a very, very nasty, scary team. Moving over to Slebo at the 1-7 takes Devonte Adams. Normally love that, but you're not getting him at a discount right now, and Aaron Rodgers might not be the quarterback, which makes me a little bit scared, which takes a little luster off of Devonte Adams in the first round. God, I hope that's not what we're saying in a month or so, but here we are. Austin Eckler in the second. People who like him love him. I get it. And then Aaron Rodgers there in the third. If you are of the mind that Rodgers is going to play this year with the Packers, you love seeing that double dip there with Devontae Adams. Najee Harris then in the fourth. No issues with where he took him. Should be the starting running back for Mike Tomlin-led Pittsburgh team. It should be pretty good. Maybe there's guys who are better, but this is your guy, and I don't think you reached for him either. Julio Jones and Chris Godwin. Hard not to like those guys. Kyle Pitts there in the seventh. Not a lot of words we could say about rookie tight ends, but I understand the appeal for sure. Also, the news that Hayden Hurst option is not going to be picked up. Hayden Hurst is going to be a free agent this year. We had talked a lot about the combination of Pitts and Hurst. Hurst is a good tight end who will be playing for another team that's not Atlanta, most likely this year. Tyler Lockett there in the eighth to be your fourth wide receiver. Don't hate it. You've got Jeffrey Wilson here in the ninth. Daniel Jones as your backup quarter or your number two quarterback, Superflex. Mike Davis and Michael Carter. Logan Thomas, backup tight end. I like the Michael Carter pickup. This is a rookie running back who could compete because you got LaMichael Pirine who's over there, but still an undersized guy. And see, but the whole Jets thing, just going to be interesting to see what happens over in New York. I like this team's, well,
it's hard to get a beat on it
because
so
Packers.
much of it, it's built on that Packers, and we just don't know. Let's take the Aaron Rodgers news out. How would we got to grade it maybe on that? Just
if he was here as of now,
yeah.
You got a wide receiver heavy team with Devonte Adams, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin could be good, but Julio Jones and Chris Godwin make me nervous Julio Jones might not be the top dog on the Falcons. Calvin Ridley came in as a force last year, had his best season.
Also tied to some trade rumors as well.
Yeah.
So,
He's really in Atlanta heavy then with Pitt. So I like, but not his rookie year, to be honest. I could eat those words after week 3, but here we are in May, and we just haven't seen rookie tight ends ever do that. We've never seen a prospect like a Kyle Pitts, but you got to see it before I'm going to invest in it. And maybe I'll miss out early because I didn't want to go with it, but that's where I'm at. Tyler Lockett's not the lead dog on his own team either. Neither is Wilson. Davis could be a really nice pick in Atlanta, more Atlanta love over here. This could be a sneaky pick if this is the lead dog for the Falcons. Not a bad running back. Not a great running back, but not a bad one. Carter could compete. Logan, this team lacks oomph. It lacks upside. Even with Austin Eckler in the second, he's going to be splitting carries. And this team it makes me a little bit nervous. I'm also not surprised it makes the playoffs. If you got Chris Godwin does what he did 2 years ago. Julio Jones stays Julio Jones. Devontae Adams, if Rodgers is there, should be top 3 wide receivers. So I'm not concerned about this team.
This team will compete, but it'll take some work, and it's going to be one of those ones you're going to have to work a little bit harder for. Yeah, and you're not striking a lot of fear in your opponent's hearts. Right.
Moving on to Fred BZ, who takes Nick Chubb at the 1-8. Aaron Jones in the second round. That's a pretty powerful running back duo. Stephon Diggs in the third. This is a very good wide receiver, number 3 in all formats last year, and it was his first year with Josh Allen. So you expect Stephon Diggs to be even better than he was last year, and that's very good for your fantasy team. Then Deandre Swift. We talked a lot about those second-year running backs. Deandre Swift is firmly in the mix. Love what we can expect out of Deandre Swift. I hope his brain stays good and he gets all the opportunities that he would normally be allotted. Keenan Allen just did stupid things with Justin Herbert in terms of volume last year. I don't think that slows down. Joe Burrow as his leading back or quarterback with Matt Ryan there as his second in the Superflex. I don't hate it. We've got two guys who are probably going to be playing from behind a lot, who don't have great defenses, who can chuck the ball 60 attempts a game. It's not the sexiest duo. It doesn't need to be, though, to score you points. I like this for Fred Beasy, Joe Burrow, and Matt Ryan. Jamar Chase, phenomenal rookie wide receiver. We expect him to have a good year. I'm a little concerned with another rookie being in that spot with like when Brandon Ayuk was still available. But if Chase is your guy and you got a belief in him, go for it. Deontay Johnson, I think, is going to be the lead dog in Pittsburgh. That's really nice. Goddard and Jonnu Smith are two good tight ends he picked up late. Like the value, like the upside. Sam Darnold is his third quarterback in the 12th round. I like that. And Curtis Samuel is going to be opposite Terry McLaurin, who's going to be really helping out the Washington football team and Terry McLaurin as well. And Curtis Samuel can just ball on his own. Like, this is a good wide receiver. He's got a lot of versatility. He's 24 years old. And I like that pick there in the 13th. This is a good team. This is a good team with some big upside. He doesn't have any holes. Quarterback is his least enthusiastic position, but he's really not got a hole there at all. Like, Joe Burrow and Matt Ryan should both probably be top 10s and be pretty consistent. I like this team, Travis. I like the wide receivers. I like the running backs.
I like the upside in the tight ends. I think it's just nicely put together. It's got the upside in the skills positions and then a nice floor with the quarterbacks. So I think it's just like a really well-rounded team. I agree with you.
Yeah. Last one here over to Jacob Bley, number one fan, takes Ezekiel Elliott and Joe Mixon. It's two running backs, good, solid running back duo. And then Herbert and Stafford as his two QBs. I like Stafford. I like Herbert. I don't like where he got them. These are guys where you'd hope that would fall a little bit further down, especially Stafford. But these guys could both be really, really good and be your favorite players on your team. I'm just not loving the value of where they were selected this early on. Robert Woods, Terry McLaurin, DJ Chark, 1, 2, 3 as his wide receivers. I think this is really nice, really high floors with upside as well. Terry McLaurin could be phenomenal this year with a breakout level up season. DJ Chark's going to have Trevor Lawrence tossing him the ball. I like that for the 24-year-old wide receiver. And Robert Woods just outperforms his ADP all the time, and he'll have Matt Stafford chucking him the ball this year. I think it's going to be a good season. Myles Gaskin came out of the draft, still looking like he's the lead dog in Miami. You've got Trey Lance as his third quarterback in case something cool happens. Go for it, man, whatever. TJ Hawkinson and Robert Tonyan as his two tight ends. Those are really nice, especially how late he got them. TJ Hawkinson in the 10th is very juicy. Very, very juicy. And Tunyan's a rising star in Green Bay. Mecole Hardman there in the 12th. Got nothing negative to say about a guy that late. And Darrell Henderson. You mess around and find out. It could be he's still a good back. He saw a lot of love early on last season. I think we know Cam Akers is the expected back to start the season, but 23-year-old year 3 Darrell Henderson, no one's surprised, I think, if he ends up getting more opportunity and more production than we're expecting him to right now. So, Big Travie, it's for me, Fred Beasy, one of the 4 teams that I broke down on this one. I love this team. I think it was a smartly drafted team. He didn't reach for anybody. He didn't create any holes. He had a lot of upside there, and you're feeling good now, and you're also feeling good as the season progresses.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't mind it at all. I would give my nod to my guy. Maybe I'm being biased and Jay Blizzy, just looking at the two teams side by side, but it's only because of the quarterbacks that Blizzy was able to get with Josh Allen and Tannehill versus Burrow and Ryan. But it's really close between these two teams. They're both built very well, and I also think that Blizzy gets the edge with Waller. But we want to know what you think, Whisper Nation. Let us know which team was the best in the comments. We obviously know Scott's coming in here, Death by Rona, saying he's the one, but we have spoken. Whisper Nation, we'd like you to speak as well. Thank you guys for joining us so much. Austin, any final thoughts here as we send it off? Yeah,
don't forget to draft a tight end. I don't have any orange guys on my squad. That's okay.
Well, we had some weird glitches. We had some weird glitches with your squad. That's whatever. Okay. That's
I love this squad, though. And let us know about Travis and I. If you take a look at our squad,
take a look at those as well, and let us know, Whisper Nation. For Austin Sear, I'm Big Travie. We are the Fantasy Whispers, and guess what? I think we're out of here. Peace.
Right here.
Oh, hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified anytime we drop new content or go live. And if you're still not sold yet, check out one of these videos.